Hello again, everybody. Thank you
Hello.
for joining us for another info stream about Gen Con Online. This time, we're going to try to give you a high-level overview of what the online convention is and how you can participate in it, depending on what you're interested in, how much time you have, all that kind of stuff. This week, again, I'm joined by Syra, our operations manager here at Gen Con. Do you
Hi.
want to do you want to say anything about yourself and kind of what you normally do at Gen Con and what you're doing for Gen Con online?
Sure. So normally for regular Gen Con, I kind of make sure that all the moving parts of our convention are moving the way that they're supposed to. So I oversee our different vendors and security and all that kind of stuff that helps create the experience that you have. So that's what I do normally for Gen Con Online, since I don't have floor plans to do this year, sadly. I'm kind of helping project manage all the different parts of Gen Con Online and making sure that all of our various teams know what each other is doing and just kind of keeping that whole high level view over everything so that all of our pieces make a nice, beautiful, big picture.
If you're really feeling like a lack of floor plans, I could make some up. I mean, I could give you some to do if you want. I just started playing a video game that involves setting up intricate traps to kill a horde of monsters coming through. You could
Uh-huh.
help
I
me
like
lay that
those
out,
kind of
maybe.
games. Yeah.
Really? Is this going to be again one of those very rare overlaps where we both actually enjoy the
Yeah.
same thing?
Yeah. I think our list is growing to like three things we both like, Derek.
Wow, wow. All right. Well, on that note of things we both enjoy,
Gen
um,
Con Online. That's
Gen
one of those
Con,
things we both enjoy.
yep, Gen Con Online. So let's go to the landing page for Gen Con Online,
Yes.
because this is effectively the homepage for the online convention. And this is going to be where a lot of the very, very basic reference information that you might need is going to be, like a lot of, links to the fact, links to the different elements, links to the store, all that kind of stuff. That's the first place to go if you're getting basic info. Um, so that should be up on the screen. The URL is just gencon.online. We'll send you right there. Or if you're already on our webpage, right at the top in the middle, it just says GenCon Online. Click on that, and you will be brought to the landing page. Anything that you specifically want to call out on this page right now before we go into detail?
I mean, kind of that graphic right there on the top is going to give you your best overview of what is Gen Con Online. It's kind of easy for those of you who are used to coming to Indianapolis or familiar with the show. You know what to expect there, but how are we making that a virtual experience this year? And this little infographic here on the top is really going to show you all the different kind of key components of Gen Con Online. So you can see in there that we still have events, all those individual events that you're used to having in Indianapolis. We've got them. We've got them this year too. I think we're at. Did we hit 5,000 yet, Derek?
Yeah, we passed 5,000.
Yeah. So lots and lots and lots of different events happening
Mm-hmm.
within Gen Con Online. You can also see there some of the highlights, various, just things that we've pulled out that we think kind of make for a key Gen Con experience. We'll, um, we'll have a Discord server up and running, and we'll talk a little bit more about these in detail. But just to kind of give you that overview there, lots of ways for you to connect with us on social. And then we'll have a store up and running where you can just find all those new releases and buy them all in one place instead of having to go from publisher to publisher. And, and now I can't see the infographic anymore. So there we go. And Twitch, and then we'll tell you about our exciting looking glass as well. So those are just kind of the key components of Gen Con Online, and that little infographic there on the top kind of gives you that brief overview.
Mm-hmm. So to just walk through this, if I have just now heard about Gen Con Online, or I've just now decided I want to participate, what's the first thing that
Hooray!
I should do?
Welcome. The first thing that you're going to want to do is get your free badge. So you're going to go to where it says get your free badge here and click on that. And then you can make an account. and you can get your free badge for Gen Con Online. Now, this is, of course, not going to be a physical badge. We're not mailing anything to you. Sorry. But that is how you will be able to participate in much of Gen Con Online. There are some things that you can do without a badge. You can, of course, check out our Twitch channels and you can participate on the Discord server. None of those require a badge. Obviously, you can hang out with us on Instagram without a badge. But if you want to be able to sign up for any individual events, you are going to need to have that badge, and it's free. So there's a couple different places where you can click on to get that badge, and you can join 20,000 of your friends who have already done that, and you'll be on your way.
Great. So the other thing here that we kind of have at the top right underneath the infographic is the code of conduct. So I just wanted to kind of point that out to folks so that they can take a look at it. Make sure that you understand kind of how we expect everyone to behave during Gen Con Online, but also how to get in touch with us when you find people or you encounter someone who's not. Because it is very important to us that everybody is comfortable and safe while they're in the show. And if people are disrupting that, like honestly, there's enough happening in the world right now to make sitting some time aside to have some fun difficult enough as it is. So we don't need people making it even more difficult. So let us know so that we can kind of take appropriate action.
Yep. One thing to note that you'll see on here if you read through it is that Gen Con Online is for people 13 and over. That's how we're making sure that we're keeping, we're doing our part to keep the kiddos safe online too. So you do have to be 13 to register for a badge and to register for any events, which is different from our online show, but that's definitely a step we felt that we needed to take for safety of our youngest fans.
It is important to notice there are a handful of events that are designed for families to participate in together. The key is that you have to be at least 13 years old to register, to give us your information, to sign up, to get a ticket, things like that. But some of those events are specifically designed for parents to bring their kids and watch a stream of a new game or color along or whatever else the event might have. And those are fully okay. But that's a thing that you as a parent will have to do on behalf of your children.
Yep.
So, do you want to start talking about some details? Maybe go into some events.
Yeah. Let's talk about events. So, like we mentioned, there are over 5,000 different ticketed events within Gen Con Online. So, if you cannot find something fun to do with 5,000 different event offerings, then we can't help you.
I mean, the way I would phrase that, as the friendly, helpful person, is if you can't find something that is fun and exciting, then visit our forums or go to other online communities who are going to Gen Con.
Right.
Because I bet that somebody is running a game that they haven't gotten as many players for as they expected, or something that they found that's amazing and interesting that they want to kind of share with people. So if you're at a loss of what to do, either because you can't find something or because honestly, 6,000 is just too many events to go through. Ask for advice and people will steer you towards things that they're excited about.
Yeah, so you might be wondering, like, what kind of events can we even find? Like, what events happen in an online convention? And the answer to that is lots and lots and lots of different kinds. So obviously, if you are a gamer and you are familiar with RPGs, you know that they work really well in an online setting. And so we have lots of people running different RPGs. We also have people running board games using various platforms. And then even events that are not game related. I was browsing through some of our events and we've got people doing ballroom dancing classes and yoga classes and knitting classes. And so there is literally something for everybody to be found in those 6,000 events.
And so badges for Gen Con Online are free, but not every event itself is free. There are many, many free events. Some of them are seminars, some of them are live plays. It might be a live stream or something like that. But there are also some free games and demos and things like that. But many of the games do have a price. It might be $2, it might be more, depending on what the event organizer needs to run the event. But you buying a ticket to the event reserves your spot. It reserves the spot for other players. It gives them a level of commitment so that it's less likely that people will buy a ticket and not show up to participate. So it should make it a little more reliable and kind of alleviate some of the challenge of, you get all your friends to agree to show up at a certain time to play a game, and then a couple of them flake out. So that is the point
Of course, none of your friends would flake out, but someone else's friends might.
Of course, because all of your friends are incredibly reliable. But yeah, so that's what the point of the purchasing process is. It reflects how things work on site. And for Gen Con Online this year, even more, we are donating the proceeds from that Gen Con base price to I Need Diverse Games after we have taken care of credit card processing and all those kinds of fees that are involved in those transactions. So it's going to end up benefiting charity anyway.
Yeah, we're super excited about that this year to be able to have that partnership with I Need Diverse Games and help support the great work that they're doing.
So the page that we have up on the screen now is the Events Tome of Knowledge.
And how did you get to this screen, Derek? Can you just show that again?
We were on the landing page, the Gen Con Online page, and I just clicked on Events How To, and that brought us to the Events Tome of Knowledge. And this is a very good resource if you are familiar, if you're unfamiliar with Gen Con at all. It's going to help you get oriented. But also, if maybe you've been to Gen Con, but you haven't been following every update we've shared about how Gen Con Online will work, this will run you through how, like, what an event is, how the tickets work, how you register, what you should do before your game, how you should prep, how to use the event messaging tool to coordinate with your GM and to get information from your GM.
Yeah, and that's a cool new feature this year. So those of you who've been to Indy and think that, events, I got this down, like that's a new feature for Gen Con Online. So be sure you check that out.
That's the tool that you're going to use to get the specific session information from your GM. So if there's a link to a Zoom call, if there's a username and password for a server, or if there's a link to a Roll20 event or something like that, that's the message, that's the private area that the GM will use to share that with registered players. The other new thing for Gen Con Online is that you'll be able to turn your tickets in to say that you participated online. You just need to click Give Ticket to Event Host on the event details, and the event host, like, that ticket will be reconciled against their event. So we as Gen Con will know whether you attended, and the event organizer, if they had an additional fee on the event, will get paid that amount. And then it also talks about some of the information on what you might want to do during the event and whatnot. So it's
I'm sold. Let's register for some events.
You want to well, so we went into a lot more detail on that last week. So when I have a chance, I'll post a link in chat to the playlist we have on YouTube that has more in-depth information. But why don't we just show everybody real quick what it looks like to search for an event and find something. So Syra, you tell me what you would like me to find for you in the event system.
All right. Well, it looks like there's a couple different places where we can find events. You can click there on the left, like Derek said, find events. And then there's also, it looked like on the Gen Con Online landing page, there was right there, register for events. And there's a few other places that you'll find it too. But basically, you'll get to this event finder tool. You can see that some stuff it's already sold out. Event registration did open last Monday, but there's also, look, all that stuff is still available. And this is just Thursday at noon Eastern. So I want to search for board games. I want to, board games are my thing. So yeah, let's filter there by board games. And I'm looking for something that I can do like Friday evening. I've got some time in my schedule there. So we can add another filter for Friday. Yep. And we can add another filter. Let's see what's going on at like 7 or 8 Friday evening.
Oh, Arboretum tournament. Arboretum's supposed to be very good, very pretty.
Yeah.
Gudetama.
Like pretty games.
I don't know if you're familiar with Gudetama, but that's the sunny side up fried egg from Japan mascot guy.
I am not familiar with that one. But so you can see the difference here just by looking at this. These are all events that are starting, all board game events that are starting at 7 or 8 o'clock Friday night. You can see the price there on the right-hand side. The vast majority of these are $2. That's that Gen Con base price that we're going to be donating a lot of. There are some that are not. I noticed if you scroll back up, Derek, I noticed there's like a free one there. That Gudetama intro is free. But then if you want to take part in that Popper Circuit online regional tournament, that's 32. So just keep an eye on those as you're going through. So then I would pick one of those. Let's do the Arboretum tournament there at the top. And then I can choose who I want to get a ticket for. You can get a ticket for yourself, or you can get a ticket for people that you are friends with in our system. So, but yeah, I could just get one for myself and then add it right to my cart. There's no reason to add it to your wish list. That's a feature that we use before event registration is actually live, which is not now. So you would just add it to your cart, and then you could, add more and check out like you would normally when you shop online, which if you're anything like me, you've been doing a lot of the last few months.
So if I wanted to get this ticket, I could just check out here.
Yep.
Great. I'm going to remove all tickets, however. I'm going to destroy your dreams.
Oh, no.
All right. So bringing us back to the landing page.
So events is, kind of a key part of Gen Con Online, certainly not the only part. And like Derek mentioned, he and I talked for a whole hour just about events and how to find the ones that you want and how to get those tickets last Friday. So you can check that out if you want some more information on how that whole system works.
So the other thing I think I want to highlight about events, or really just mention to people right now, is that you should always double check your event details shortly before the show, because lots of things, plans change. It's possible that your event organizer had to change some detail of the event, or that something was updated with it. So always make sure, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday before the convention, go back and just double check your schedule, just to make sure that you got what you thought you got. Your events are at the time that you thought they were. They're still on the platform that you thought they were. Yeah, just make sure that you have kind of kept up with your events. Check the messages from the event organizer just to see if there's any news or anything like that that you need to be concerned about, and then get ready to play. Get ready to have fun. When the event starts, make sure to turn your ticket into the event organizer, and try to do that even if the event organizer doesn't ask. Like maybe for a large stream, hundreds of people bought tickets. Just go turn in your ticket anyway, just so that we know how many people who got a ticket actually did go to watch that stream. Now, what about show highlights? What are show highlights?
Yeah, so show highlights, we have a few different kind of programs. A lot of these are kind of collections of events that all live under one kind of program. So if you're familiar with the show in Indianapolis, we have a playtest hall, the First Exposure playtest hall, where people have a chance to actually show off their new games that they have created that are in playtest. What's the word I want? They're in the playtest stage. They haven't gone into actual production yet. And we have brought that online for you this year. So we will have events that are in that First Exposure playtest online kind of category. So that's one of our big highlights this year. We also have a costume contest. I believe submissions are closed for the costume contest.
I think they ended on the 15th.
Yep. So just a couple days ago. But so we aren't taking any new submissions for the costume contest, but you'll definitely want to see who the winners are and the runners up are. And I think there's going to be some awesome costumes this year, because people don't even have to worry about lugging their costumes to Indianapolis. So I'm really excited to see what those are going to look like this year.
They don't have to worry about how they're going to fit their costume through whatever door they have to get through or something like that. I remember the one year we had somebody as the Gundam or something like that. I think that we may have had to lead through the hallways at one point.
Yeah, we were worried about them hitting the overhead signs, and yeah, there are some big ones, but this year people don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about getting their, axes through security at the airport or whatever. So I think there's going to be some awesome, awesome costumes. I'm excited to see that. Also, we have the film festival this year.
Mhm.
One of the programs that's really popular at Gen Con, a chance to see new filmmakers who are doing stuff that will be part of Gen Con Online. There'll be events that you can sign up for, different panels and seminars. And then we also have a really exciting partnership with the Fantasy Network this year, where you're going to be able to stream all the films that are part of the film festival on the Fantasy Network for free. So that will be available the days of the show, just like, your Netflix account or your Disney Plus or
Mhm.
whatever. All the film festival films will be there for you to watch at your leisure during those 4 days of the show. So we're really excited about that partnership with the Fantasy Network to be able to do that.
I do believe it is only those 4 days of the show, though. So,
Correct.
it's not a you can add that to your wish list or your watch list to watch 3 months from now.
Nope.
Um, in between some of your games, maybe pop in there and see what's available.
Yep. And then we will also have lots of streaming happening here on Twitch, where you already are. You know where to find all your wonderful Gen Con-ness. That will be happening during the show as well. Derek, you want to talk about that a little bit? What people can expect there?
Sure. I actually have that as a separate agenda
Oh,
category,
we'll talk
so
about it
we
later.
can dig into more detail on that in a little bit.
Sure.
But first, unless there are other show highlights that you want to discuss.
I don't. Yeah, I think that covers a lot of the big kind of categories of events.
Okay. Well, do you want to tell everybody about one of the other kind of really big new initiatives that we have for this year, Project Looking Glass?
Yeah. So Looking Glass, when we first set out to do an online convention, one of the big questions we asked ourselves is how do we bring an experience like the Gen Con exhibit hall to an online scenario? How do we do that? We know that kind of the two biggest things at Gen Con are the exhibit hall and the chance to meet with publishers and check out things people are making and selling and creating. And then also, of course, our events, which we've already talked about. So our answer to this exhibit hall conundrum was Looking Glass. And you don't get to see what it looks like because it will all be revealed at noon Eastern on Thursday, July 30th. Right? Yes,
So you only get
it
to
says it right
you
there.
only get to hint and tease at this point.
Yeah. So, but if you love the exhibit hall in Indianapolis, if you're excited about seeing what publishers are offering, what the new games are, if you're excited about checking out our art show and our Authors Avenue and seeing what's being written and what's being created, and that is where you are definitely going to want to spend some time when the show opens, because that is going to be it's going to be a really cool way to get to connect with these different groups, since we can't walk around a giant exhibit hall and talk to them.
Right. So then we were just talking about Twitch, and I'm going to bring up the Twitch team page because I want to let everybody know that on Twitch we're going to have 3 different channels running, the way that we normally
Hooray!
would at physical Gen Con. And also, I think if you're watching now, there'll be an infinite amusing recursion as we go further and further into infinity there.
I was just noticing that.
Yep.
Like
So
there's so many of me.
we'll have 3 channels. There's Gen Con TV that you're watching right now, and this will be primarily focused on live games, special events, entertainment, stuff like that. There will be Gen Con main stage, and that is where we'll have a lot of presentations, interviews, previews from our publishers, our partners, our sponsors. And then we'll have Gen Con Studio, where the majority of that will be in partnership with Board Game Geek, and they will be going through and doing very quick previews, I believe about a half hour long or so, of all the new games that would normally be premiering at Gen Con that you could go demo at a booth. This will be some of that experience where you can kind of power through a bunch of demos through the course of their stream. Those
So
categories aren't,
exciting.
I'm very excited. Those categories are not exact. They're not strict. There are going to be some events that, just due to scheduling or volume of events, end up on different channels, but that should give you a general idea of what they are. And the important thing is that there are 3 different channels running simultaneously. So you're going to want to make sure that you go and follow all 3 of those channels, or bookmark the team page, which is just Gen Con or twitch.tv/team/Gen Con. And that gives you a link to all 3 of them at once. You can kind of hop back and forth between, depending on which one you want to watch at any given time. And I will post that
Where's
link in chat.
where's the best place for someone to see the schedule of what's happening on those 3 channels, Derek?
So each of those channels, their individual pages will be updated. Like below the video, the schedule for Gen Con Online will be posted as we get closer to the show, the same way that we've done, in the past. Also,
Great.
as individual streams are confirmed, those events are also in that registration system that we were showing off before. You can search for them. You can get a ticket to them to add it to your schedule to remind you to go watch it. So all of that is going to be in all the places that we normally put schedules for anything.
And Twitch, obviously these are all free to watch. You don't have to have a Gen Con badge to go to our Twitch channels and watch the streams. But if you do want to be able to add them as an event to your schedule so that you are planning around all the different things you want to do, then of course you would need to have your badge registration to be able to do that. But then adding those events into your schedule is free also.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so the badge will be free. Getting the ticket will be free. It's just helpful because it lets us know how many people are involved in Gen Con Online so that we know like who's hanging out with us.
It helps you guys too. If I really want to watch this stream from my favorite publisher who's doing a demo, but I also really want to do this game, and then you can make sure that stuff's not conflicting that you're wanting to do.
Mm-hmm. So,
I just wanted to note real quick that whenever you see times on all of these things, these are all Eastern time. So keep that in mind and do the math accordingly for where you are.
Mm-hmm. What about social media? I know that we have some big plans on how that's going to be integrated.
So there are quite a few ways that you can connect with us on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. And then we have this cool kind of correlator here of people's photos. So as you're posting stuff on Instagram, use that hashtag GenCon together. Show us how you are doing Gen Con Online. Maybe you've got you and your family all on computers in your living room, or you're somehow doing this with friends. Like, we want to see what your Gen Con Online experience looks like. So be sure to tag us Gen Con together, and then we can we'll have all those kind of photos kind of correlating and showing up on here. I'm excited to see what people's Gen Con experiences look like, since I don't get to see them in person like I normally do.
Well, I think there are 3 hashtags in general that we have put out on Twitter. There's,
if you go back up to that infographic, they're all there.
Now with sound effects. Yeah, the text is small enough. I'm not sure that it will come through, but there's hashtag Gen Con together. There's Gen Con Online, and then Gen Con in general. And our social media team has a slightly different intent behind each one. So if you want to kind of figure out what we're encouraging folks to talk about on each individual hashtag, you can always pop into the landing page here and find out.
Yep. Just use all 3.
Now, speaking of things that we can't show right now, but will be exciting and we are excited about, do you want to brief everybody on Discord?
So the Gen Con Game Store is a new thing for us this year, that we are partnering with a distributor to bring all of the new releases to you in one place. So we've partnered with Publisher Services, Inc., and we will have a storefront here, just a regular online storefront like you're used to anywhere. And this will have games that are being released between June 15th and July 29th. So all the new releases from the different publishers who've decided to work with us on this will all be available in one place. So if you want some new games that are just now available. This will be the place to go. You can add games to your cart throughout the weekend as you see them on demos, or you talk to people in, you see them on Looking Glass, or you're talking to people in Discord about these new games. You're like, oh my gosh, yes. You can go to the game store, add these to your cart, and then at the end of the show, you can check out and all those games will get delivered right to your home. So I am excited about this because my little 5-year-old is already sad that I am not going to my festival this year, as he calls it, because he thinks he's not going to get any new games. So I'm excited to see what's going to be new this year that I can get mailed home and, let him know that Mama still came through.
Well, so that actually ties into a couple questions that came up in chat. And the first is, are servers going to be ready for the onslaught of people, who want to look at Looking Glass and go through the store?
So I'm going to say yes, because we have a whole team of people that is what they do. They do all of the the dev work and the server preparation and all of that behind the scenes for this. They do it for our indie show, and they that is certainly not my area of expertise. So as far as I can tell, they wave magic wands and everything works. They tell me that's not quite what they do, but that's what it looks like to me, because things get it's just amazing the work that they do to.
It's either that or a very entertaining LARP that they're doing. So one of those two.
Yeah, one or the other. But either way, it works, and they're working around the clock, literally, especially during the show, to make sure that if there are any problems, any sticky points, they're getting those resolved right away.
But I think that's where I would go back to our statement about a badge, because I don't believe the store is going to be locked behind having a badge, but if you get a badge, that does let us know that you intend to be at the show. You intend to participate.
And we can prepare for that. Like, we know for sure that we have, almost 21,000 people who are going to be joining us for Gen Con Online, and we can prepare for that. Of course, we know some people will be joining us without badges as well. But then if we have another 80,000 people who don't have badges who show up, then that could be interesting.
Yeah, the better the information we have on who is actually going to be on our site, the better. The better we can prepare.
Register.
So the other question in chat is whether games in the online store will be in limited quantities, the same way that a lot of them are at the convention. And I think that's probably going to be more difficult for us to answer. There might be a different policy, but I believe that's really going to depend on where in the production cycle the individual publisher is, because some of them traditionally will air freight in something for Gen Con to have some limited quantities there when it's releasing to retail soon after. I suspect that the checking out from the show and then having things shipped a week or two after the show is going to allow for more inventory than might normally be available at Gen Con.
Yeah, I would guess so.
But it still will depend on the individual publisher and where that game is in its cycle, basically. All right,
and this won't necessarily be the only place to get those games too. Like, a lot of publishers will also have them available themselves. But if you want one place where you can see a lot of the brand new games from a variety of publishers without having to go to 30 different publisher websites, this will be where you want to check out.
Now, what I had actually asked you about was Discord. I think you misheard and went with Gen Con Store, or maybe that was just what you were personally excited about. So Discord is something else that we will have launching soon, but isn't viewable to the public yet. But you want to talk about what they can expect when that does go live?
Sure. So I was just on it today a little bit, checking it out and seeing, and it is going to be pretty fun for those of you who like to have places to get together and chat. And that's what you love about Gen Con. We are making that happen in Discord. So we will have our own Gen Con online server. We've got lots and lots of different channels within it for you to have all sorts of different conversations about new games, about cool merch, about if you're looking to play a game, we've got places where you can join conversations there to find people to go play a game with, all sorts of different things that you can do in there. And getting onto our Discord server does not require a badge. You can just be part of it. You'll link to it from our landing page here. Derek, if you want to go back to the landing page again, and we can show people where so it'll be there. It's just not open for use quite yet. It will, however, be open starting Monday. Oh, sad.
I had to type it in.
But our Discord server will be open for public use starting the Monday prior to the show. So Monday, July 27th is when you can get on there. Just like if you come into Indianapolis a couple days before the show and you've got time to hang out in restaurants and hang out in hotel lobbies, starting to play games and meet people, this is your chance to do that before the show happens too. So starting Monday the 27th, you can hop on Discord, you can start having conversations and checking it out and looking around. And we will have a lot of Gen Con staff hanging out in there. We'll have our wonderful captains that you're used to seeing around the show. We've got some of them hanging out there. A lot of you have probably seen Kelsey, our community manager. They've been doing streams on here and have been active on our social media. They'll be around on Discord helping make sure that conversations are just staying fun and positive and everyone's having a great, safe time.
Yeah, the Discord is very much going to be that feeling of being part of a convention that's larger than just the events that you yourself are involved in. It's going to be where you can have that conversation where you would bump into someone in the hallway, or you might be hanging out because you have an hour or two between scheduled games, and you might want to go to the open gaming space and find somebody to go play a game in, or you might be hanging out in the Looking for Players channel as GMs pop in to let folks know that there's a couple seats available for their games and whatnot. So the Discord is very much going to be that connective tissue that allows people to kind of communicate around with each other. We will also have a section for platform support. So if you're, playing or running a game on, Tabletop Simulator or Roll20 or something like that, there will be a channel for you to go to and at least try to get some help with any problem that you're running into from either an official representative from that company or members of its community who are passionate and want to help other people get things working. Gen Con is not going to be able to support all of these incidents directly, but we're trying to give a space for those folks who are knowledgeable about a platform and those folks who need help with the platform, because there's going to be a lot of folks who are not as experienced with a lot of these things as other people. We're setting up a space for those two communities to kind of connect with each other and help each other out.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about the Gen Con store and the new releases that will be available through that. But what about merchandise? Gen Con merchandise.
That's my favorite part.
Is it?
It is, because that's where I get to go shopping for, clothes and stuff. So we have two really cool lookbooks here for you to check out. The first one is all of our official merch. So this is that booth that's in the middle of the exhibit hall. Usually it's that booth that's over off of Maryland. Yes. It's been a while since I've been in Indy. This is where you'll find all of your cool Gen Con official merch, our shirts and glasses and hoodies and hats and backpacks and all of that kind of stuff.
I hear the blanket is particularly good this year.
Yep, people
particularly
have
soft
been
and fluffy.
Raving about that.
I think I have the bag right over here too, actually.
I'm loving my my 2020 Dice glasses hoodie, which it's in there somewhere.
I think it may have been at the beginning.
Yeah. That was my big merch purchase this year for myself. Yep, that one right there. And then my husband and my son have those Genevieve shirts, which is really cute when they wear those. So definitely check out that and see all of our official merch. And then down here in the next lookbook, you'll see all of our other licensed products. So these are not being sold by Offworld, our merchandising partner, but these are being sold by different companies that are doing cool Gen Con stuff, like the Genevieve plushie, which is so cute. I cannot even handle it.
There's also
So there,
the Fez that I was pushing strongly, that just to ensure quality, all Gen Con staff needed to be shipped one for thorough testing. But
uh-huh.
somehow that request did not seem to get through, unfortunately.
I don't know. But if you're looking for your Gen Con dice, there they are. So check that out as well. And you'll be able to order these things from the different vendors. Yeah, your dice towers.
Gen Con dice is a very common question. I know there's a lot of people who collect those over the years.
Yep. Pins. We have pins too. For those of you who've been doing the pin trading, we
Mm-hmm.
have pins this year and they're there in that licensed product lookbook. And I think there's even going to be a pin trading channel in
Mm-hmm.
Discord. So if you've got some pins you're missing from the last couple of years, you'll want to go there and see what you can trade with people.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about our charity partners?
So we have 3 charity partners this year. We've talked a little bit about I Need Diverse Games. They're kind of our special partner for Gen Con Online, and we'll be donating, like we said, a portion of those event ticket prices to them. And then we have 2 other charity partners, Take This and Trinity Haven. They had already been selected as our charity partners for 2020. And, on site, we always have a bunch of different events that are happening that are that raise money for those organizations. So we are still supporting them this year and giving them lots of love. And then they will continue to be our charity partners when we are back in person with each other in 2021. So, yeah, so definitely check out these 3 organizations, see the great work that they're doing in Indianapolis. Trinity Haven is a local organization in Indianapolis that works with housing for LGBTQ youth, which is really such a wonderful thing. And then Take This works with kind of mental health using mental health specifically for like game developers in the game community. And
Mm-hmm.
so those are 2
Yeah, they
partners
have a
that we
big presence
really.
at a lot of conventions, like managing a quiet room or a space for
Mhm.
people who are having trouble handling the chaos of a convention to find a little bit of solace.
Yep.
And then I Need Diverse Games is a charity really pushing for its title, helping to improve diversity, inclusion, representation all across the gaming industry, both on tabletop games and video games.
Yeah.
So, I think we have covered most of the like quote unquote pillars of Gen Con Online, as it were.
Yeah.
So, why don't I go back to the kind of splash page here, and we'll give chat a chance to kind of chime in with any more questions that they may have that they kind of
Do
want to
it.
get
Bring it
answered.
on.
Mm-hmm. And we are planning on doing some more Gen Con news in the future. Next Friday, Kelsey will be back on stream at 1 p.m. Pacific to again kind of talk directly with chat, answer any questions that folks have. We are currently planning on having you back on that Friday to discuss Discord and show folks what it will look like before it launches. Any other questions that have come up in the meantime? Cover a lot of these pillars again, just in case people weren't able to join us for this stream, and we want to kind of update them again. But if anybody has anything else that they're curious about for Gen Con Online, post in the chat. And while we're waiting for that, Sarah, do you have anything else that you want to share about Gen Con Online?
I just want to point out if you scroll down a little bit, we do have an FAQ section there. Yep, with a big question mark. And so that is also another good place to get a lot of your questions answered about various policies. How do I do something? Do I need a badge? What about children? All that kind of stuff. So make sure that you take a look at that too. And probably a lot of your questions can get answered there. And if you've read the FAQ and you've read the events how to tome of knowledge and there's still some questions that you just cannot find, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. You can always email customer service at gencon.com and or reach out to us on Twitter or Facebook, and we can get those questions answered for you.
Great. So the other thing I was going to ask you, Sarah, is what are you personally most excited about for Gen Con Online?
Oh, so much stuff. I am, I like on kind of a personal note, I am really excited to see how many people are joining us for Gen Con
Mhm.
Online. This was such a huge experiment for us. I think it was March when we started thinking that maybe an in-person convention wasn't going to happen. And, we're watching conventions just shut down left and right and seeing different conventions try to pivot to an online event with various degrees of success. And we started having these conversations really not that long ago. Like, we
Mhm.
spend a good year putting on our convention in Indy, and we didn't have a year to put together Gen Con Online. We had like 6 weeks or 8 weeks or some crazy short amount of time. And I'm so excited to see all of the various things we've done, how we've really, I think, taken the key components of what makes Gen Con in Indianapolis so amazing and figured out ways to put them online. And we've got 21,000 people who are excited to do that with us. And so I'm just really excited about the work that our team has done, and that
Mhm.
we've got so many people who want to join us for this new thing that none of us have ever done before. And we're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna have a great time doing it.
Yeah, yeah. I am very excited to see who has not had an opportunity to attend a Gen Con before, who will
Yeah.
now be able to at least get a taste of what the physical show is like. And I suspect that very, very rapidly we're going to find out what the unique character of an online Gen Con is, because it's
Mhm.
not going to be the same, but it's not going to be lesser. It's going to be different, and that's new for us as an organization.
Yep.
So be patient and understanding as we are getting everything together and rolling out for this online show. But I'm very excited about the response we've received from everybody who's participating.
We love
Uh,
you.
and extend that same kind of patience that we're asking for with what we're doing to the fellow attendees who are going to be part of it. Because even if you are personally extremely experienced in online games, there are going to be a lot of people who are not. This may be the first couple times that they've played, and this is an opportunity to introduce them to a whole new way of playing games,
Yeah.
particularly one that is very helpful during our quarantine period.
Yeah.
Uh, and maybe you are also not that experienced, and you should extend the same patience to yourself. So
Yeah. Don't
it's
be afraid to try something new.
yep, try something new, but also don't be afraid to just ask for help. If you're not sure how something works, you're not sure where to find something, you're not sure where to find a game, you're not sure where the settings are for tabletop simulator, you're not sure what the controls are or what the hotkeys are, ask your fellow players, and hopefully I imagine that they're going to be as eager to share what they know with you as you are to play games with them.
Yeah. We see that at the show in Indy all the time. We have new people who come and they're nervous because, they've never been to a game convention or never been one the size of Gen Con. Like, even if you've been to your local gaming convention, like that's not the same animal
Yep.
as navigating a Gen Con. And we hear it all the time from new people that they were so nervous and they were worried about, oh, I'm like the only person I know who's never played D&D before. Like, I can't play at a gaming convention. Like, go, like, do the thing that you want
Yep.
to do, because people there will help you. They will accept you. They will be so excited that you're there to try the thing that they love. And
Hmm.
so, um, yeah, don't use this opportunity to, let yourself have fun. And one thing that we have this year that is so exciting that we can do in this online scenario is we have events in multiple languages. Like, this is
Hmm.
not something that happens in Indianapolis. So we have events in multiple languages running 24 hours a day.
Hmm.
So, if you are in Brazil, we've got events in
Hmm.
Portuguese. And if you are in Russia, we've got events in Russian that are running at, you know, what would be a weird time of night for Indianapolis, but is not in the middle of the night for Russia. So make sure that you are seeing everything we have to offer. Make sure you look at those times, because if it says that an event starts at 2 a.m., like that's not a typo. It starts at 2 a.m. Eastern time. Um, so yeah, so much exciting stuff that we get to do this year that we haven't done in the physical convention before.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to look up the Portuguese.
Yeah, so in that event finder, you can kind of look up.
Mm-hmm.
You can type in different languages as a keyword. And
yeah, the trick right now seems to be that the search is having trouble with Spanish, so you have to search for it in parentheses. Well, you also have to spell it right, just to clarify.
Also helps.
Those two basic requirements. So I believe that's about it. We haven't had any other questions come up in chat. So I just wanted to thank Syra for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming out and answering a few questions. And thank you to all the viewers who are watching. Thank you for everyone who stuck through it.
That's my dog.
Apparently. There were some yelling hell coyotes over here, but I don't think they got picked up on the microphone. But thank you to everyone who is watching the streams. I hope that you are as excited about Gen Con Online as we are. And don't forget that we have plenty more streams scheduled throughout the week. Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, we have Board Games with their brothers Murph, where the brothers will play a game together and engage with chat. It's just a fun place to hang out with board games. And then Wednesday at 1:30 p.m., This Game Gets Dicey is a lady in LA and a gentleman in London who play board games online with each other. So you can see what some of these games played digitally look like while you're engaging with them and betting on who wins. And then at 4 p.m. Pacific on Wednesdays, we have Fireside with Peter Atkinson. And this season, he is still going through the history of 3rd edition of D&D and talking with people who were there during the TSR days, during the old days of D&D, and what the transition was like for them, or the designers who came in to help create 3rd edition, and what it's fascinating if you love D&D or if you love the history of role-playing games. He's shared some amazing stories with the people who were there. And then next Friday, we will have Gen Con News again at 1 p.m. Pacific, followed by Table Takes at 2 p.m. Pacific. And Table Takes is our news and talk show where we cover the headlines, sometimes interview some folks. We talk about major bundles and interesting Kickstarters that are ending over the course of the next week. And then at 3:30 p.m., we'll have another Gen Con Online info convention overview. So if you have any questions between now and then, you can join us then to get answers to everything.
Yeah, we'll be here.
So, remember to follow us on Twitch, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you missed any episodes, those are usually up on YouTube about 24 hours or so later. And thank you again. We hope to see you in the future and at Gen Con Online.
Thanks, everyone.